This is the video review for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Scout Class Stalker. I always sort of forget his name. He has a name that's so similar to so many other things. I always have to think about it before I say it. And he's not a flying wing. He has what is obviously a fuselage, but he is some kind of unmanned probe. And he combines with Mind Wipe and vehicle mode. Because if you look on top of here, there are these little holes here and here, and pegs on the underside of Stalker. So it's pretty neat that there's some cross-toy functionality, and there's even a fairly good fan mode. I won't show it off in this video just because it's a lot of trouble to get it right, and I'm not sure that I can do it. It's been forever since I did it, and while it looks cool, it's not very sturdy. But there is a fairly cool-looking fan mode between these two, where this guy essentially forms a chest plate. But, again, neither here nor there. He looks pretty nice, is very well detailed. He has landing gear down here that can retract, but no rear landing gear. He has the two tabs, but nothing that rolls, so honestly I would have preferred just another peg so it were more uniform. Well, no, I say that, but what I really mean is that it's a waste for this to roll. And you can see quite a bit of robot stuff underneath. And that is a bit of a shame, but it's not too much kibble underneath. It just, maybe if it were darker it wouldn't show up so bad. I actually don't think anything could quite be done about that. Yeah, very nice, a fairly nice mode. And one of the better scouts from Revenge of the Fallen. In Revenge of the Fallen, there are quite a few nice scouts too. Like Hubcap is one of my favorite figures. He's easily up there with Universe 2.0 Hound. So, to transform this guy, pretty simple. First, push in on these air intakes / jet engines, and rotate them down, and rotate out his feet. Then just get those out of the way. Then you'll fold down his chest and bring his head down. His head was the eye for the drone. Untab the wings and bring out the arms. And the arms, on the way up, they will kind of click into place. It's more something that you feel than hear, because these little tabs here sort of latch in somewhere. And that'll keep them there pretty well. And the wings, you can do what you like with them, but I typically just have them out to the back. It's the cleanest, less kibbly way to handle them. And before I sand him down, one thing to be aware of, he does have spring-loaded feet, and I know a lot of people don't like those. On a figure this small, it's not actually that big of a deal, especially if you have the feet as far forward as they're supposed to go. It's not that big of a deal because he can just sort of be plopped down and they'll open, so you don't have to spread them beforehand. It would have been nice if they weren't spring-loaded, but it's still a fairly interesting gimmick. And yeah, this is Stalker. He's pretty small. Let me adjust my camera. But he looks pretty good. He has a nice kind of vampire aesthetic to him, but without being girly about it. Like, he looks menacing. As far as posability goes, he has ball-jointed shoulders that go forward and back and out. Well, out somewhat, depends on where this little gray tab is. And then he has ball-jointed elbows that can go everywhere a ball-jointed elbow could. His head is on a hinge like this, and it can turn side to side, kind of depending on where it is. It can also rotate like that, like, "What you doing? I'm gonna drink your blood." And then the legs. Well, one thing interesting about the legs is that the legs, here's the thigh, and then off to the side is the knee. It looks a little bit odd at first, but I don't think it actually looks that bad. It's a ball-jointed hip, forward, back, and out. Rotates above the knee, and then the knee, because of how it's jointed, except that the body's in a way could go around 360. So quite a bit of range there. And then you can move the foot back, but the best place for it is snapped forward. So he has all the posability he needs. And the feet aren't that bad. The pressure from the springs does help keep him stable, although maybe not as stable as if it was just they were just tight joints. It can be a problem. I won't lie and say, ooh, it's perfect. It's not. And then one thing that's cool about this guy is that if you pop out part of his wings, you get little axes, and these axes are part of the 3mm clip system, so they can work on more figures than just Stalker. Let's see, there is a tab right here that can go into his hand, and so we can just hold these. And that looks okay, but what I prefer is to clip them on up here, which sort of gives him I don't know how to describe it, kind of like a slasher claw hand, and I think that looks best. Now you can either have them to the side or rotate all the way down. What's great about these and other 3mm clip weapons is that they just give you a lot of you can customize exactly how you want the figure. And then to add to the bat or vampire aesthetic, it sort of cuts out parts of his wings. That makes him look a bit more raggedy and a bit less wholesome, I guess. That's the best way to put it. So overall, a very nice figure. Joints are a little loose on mine after a while of playing with him for several years, or not several years, but I've had him for a while, and the joints are starting to wear down, but I've had fun with him. If you can find him, I do recommend getting him. Those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching.